Weekly update for Friday, April 27th. And getting to this a little late. Heard from Kenneth S. of Bar Harbor, Maine, April 6th. Writing to Dave Fisher, thanks for looking into this. I do have to admit that it's a bit frustrating as they seem to be at least half the package, and they are clearly shown in photographs accompanying the auction as what I would be receiving. Just getting you caught up on this. Kenneth S. Had won one of the auctions for a week's worth of Cerebus and Hell strips, and it ended up that Dave Fisher had posted the auction twice, so it had to go to the person who won it the first time. And what I offered Kenneth by compensation was an extra week's worth of Cerebus and Hell strips, which he was happy to get, but did make the point that the 2 weeks that I sent him didn't have the bits and pieces, because the bits and pieces, I didn't start saving those until we were doing the auctions ourselves. Margaret Liss has a bunch of them, but in terms of a week's worth of strips and the bits and pieces that go with it, I understand that the pieces I got are all personalized to me, so I get that returning them is a bad option. Is there a chance I could purchase a week with all the pieces included? Is there an easier / better solution you are thinking of? Let me know. So Kenneth S., we are letting you know right now, you will be getting a free week of Cerebus and Hell strips. Last week's Cerebus and Hell strips, as a matter of fact, Vark Thing #1, the last half of the backup story, which is Dante and Virgil versus the Hawkmen of Mongo, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't believe I am, strip #1 of Vark Thing, which is the lead feature in that issue, Vark Thing #1. We'll see if we can rustle up also a photocopy of a color photocopy of the preliminary cover for Vark Thing #1. In addition to that, just wait, also by way of compensation, I'm going to be sending you a Cerebus Marv picture, which is actual original artwork. That's me inking in all of the Cerebus figure and then sticking little pieces of white Avery label on his face to duplicate the effect of Frank Miller's Sin City Marv in the Sim City parody. So I'll be signing that. But that's not all. You'll also be getting the setup and paste up with word balloons of Vark Mite, or Bat Vark Mite, or Bat Mite. We call them a bunch of different things. And Cerebus with their heads detached, doing a horror cover and trying to get Bat Vark to play ball, and he just won't do it. No boy sidekicks whatsoever. So you'll be getting that one as well. Also, Woman Thing, the master shot of Woman Thing and her legions. That one's still to be published sometime in 2019. I think that's early in 2019. And not only that, you get a setup and paste up of Dante and Virgil. We're going to have to go in a little closer on this so that you can see it. There it is. They've got their Bat Vark cod pieces on, and that's from the soon to be released well, not soon. It's coming up. It's coming up in September. The Nick Calm Agent of Codpiece issue. So you'll be getting that, as well as the Death of Cerebus in Hell proof copy that I found. This is not the finished proof copy, the final proof copy, but this is one of the proof copies that was printed out. So you'll be getting that as well as part of compensation for not getting your bits and pieces with your week's worth of strips. Good point that you are definitely entitled to those. Let's see, what else we got here? I got a note from Gus Gruel, who does Little Jan Dahmer mini comic, which he admits is completely politically incorrect, and he says I don't have to hold it up if I don't want to, but hey, you produced it, you sent it to me, I'll hold it up. Gus Gruel at protonmail.com writes, Dear Mr. Sim, did you use a Hunt 102 to letter Cerebus? Will you briefly mention what you used on a future weekly update? I previously sent you volume 1 of this Little Jan Dahmer comic strip. Thought I'd send you volume 2. No need to mention the comic on your show, just wanted to show you my work as you are the cartoonist I most respect. I realize it's the comic politically incorrect. And then he's got a quote, the quill is a dagger, or it is nothing. I've heard that's a quote from Solzhenitsyn, he says, but haven't confirmed. So we'll just hold up Little Jan Dahmer one more time, since I'm in full agreement that the quill is a dagger, or it is nothing. Been enjoying Cerebus in Hell, he says. Rummaging through 50-cent boxes at a recent con, I found a Cerebus I've not seen before. Page 1 had a personalized autograph from you and a Cerebus sketch. So good hunting there, Gus Gruel. I've used a Hunt 102 on this letter. I have and have read Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing using Dr. P.H. Martin's Black Star India ink. It coats the Hunt 102's metal thick with residue. I should clean it more frequently or switch inks. Thank you. And I pray your wrist heals up so you can draw. Well, I'm doing some drawing. I'm not doing finished drawing, but I'm able to do a fair amount of drawing on Strange Death of Alex Raymond, showing Carson Grubaugh. This is what I want it to look like. Anyway, getting to Gus's question, no, I lettered Cerebus with Rapidograph pens, Stedler Mars Rapidograph pens, and then they stopped making the Rapidograph pen that I was using just about the time that Cerebus was coming to an end, and I never got comfortable with any of the other Rotring, and there's a few other Rapidograph pens on the market. You might want to try them out. It's a little easier for lettering because it's more consistent. The Hunt 102's a little too sharp a pen for using for lettering. I do occasionally use a Gillot 303 for lettering, but it's definitely not going to look like the lettering on Cerebus, which is what you're asking about. So the only suggestion I can make is that you see what they've got going these days in terms of Rapidograph pens, and see if something is giving you the lettering line that you're looking for. And also my biggest recommendation when it comes to ink, and I can never excuse me, I can never repeat this too many times for the amateur and semi-pro and pro guys out there, if you're not getting to the drawing board often enough, like on a daily basis is what I would be suggesting. Your ink's going bad. So be honest with yourself. If you haven't been back to the drawing board since the end of last month or the month before that, don't think that you can just start using the same ink that you were using. It's dead. Get rid of it. Go buy a fresh bottle of ink. That's probably where you're getting more of the clogging in the pen and gumming up the works and the ink just not behaving properly. My experience is if it's not fresh ink, it's not going to do the job properly. And definitely don't ever think that you're going to get through even one of those little bottles of ink and be able to use it all the way down to the bottom. Really, with India ink, if you want to have a professional comic art line, it's got to be a fresh bottle of ink, and you'll probably only use maybe the top 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch of it, and then it's a good idea to just get rid of the ink and get a new bottle. You can try thinning it down with distilled water. Don't try doing it with tap water. But as soon as you start doing that, then you might as well be an alchemist. You're going to be mixing all the time, and then you go, oh, now it's got this weird sort of brown quality to it. If you want black India ink, you want it going on the page smoothly and reliably. Get used to the fact that this is just something that you're going to have to buy, not as often as you buy groceries, but much closer to that than, well, this little bottle will last me 5 years. If you're trying to make it last you 5 years and you're sitting there going, why is this pen not working properly? It's not the pen, it's the ink, usually. That's my experience. Other people might tell you different things and probably will, but all I can do is say, no, that's been my experience. If you want a happy drawing experience that you didn't expect, get rid of your old ink, get yourself a new bottle of ink and a fresh pen nib, and you'll go, oh, wait, whoa, wait a minute, I actually draw better than I thought I did. Yes, you do. It's just you've got to have better materials. Okay, this forwarded by Sean from Jonas M. Subject, is this active statue of Cerebus? Send it to cerebusarthunt@gmail.com. Local artist in Helsinki, Finland, Dean Clayton, also a fan, is doing a small statue of Cerebus as commission to his customer. Dean asked me to share a photo of this statue, Dave Sim, or anyone who knows him, especially now that there is talk about new Cerebus comics coming. It's not just talk, there's like 8 or 9 of them at this point. I have included Dean's photo as an attachment. Best regards from Jonas. And if you want to see a statue of a seriously steamed Cerebus, there you go. I don't think you can do better than that for a seriously steamed Cerebus. So thanks for sending that along. As Sean said, a beautiful piece of work. Okay, that'll do it for a weekly update for this week, and I hope you'll join us next week for a weekly update on May 4th. I think it's May 4th. And we'll see you all then.